A very warm welcome to all of you. As all of you know, that every year on 5th June, we celebrate World Environment Day. The World Environment Day was first set up in 1974 by United Nations. Since then, it is now celebrated in our 143 countries around the world. So, the purpose of the World Environment Day is to raise the awareness of the planet Earth and the issues around it, and to encourage world about the necessary actions to be taken to protect the environment. In many countries, World Environmental Day is used to draw political attention and action to improve the environment. So basically, the aim, the purpose of the World Environment Day is to bring awareness among the peoples, to make them aware about their duties towards their environment, because as a human we are also part of environment. So basically the environment consists of both living and non-living, and the interaction between living and non-living, we study it in the form of ecology, because all the organism, from simplest microorganism to the higher organism, each is interrelated, interconnected, and interdependent on each other. Every year there is a theme for this day, and this year the World Environmental Day theme 2021 is reimagine, recreate, and restore. As the three R, we can say three R's. These suggest that we have to reimagine, we have to rethink about our environment, how environment is important for us, how we can play an important role uh, in revitalizing, in improving the environment. Similarly, we have to recreate. So whatever damage we have done to our environment in the form of pollution, in the form of overpopulation, we have to recreate, we have to regain that balance, we have to redevelop our environment, we have to compensate, which obviously we can't, because we have the damage is very much greater, very much at a higher cost, we cannot compensate it, but from our little action we can somewhat, we can say, compensate a little bit for our future generation. Otherwise, if we continue to uh, take benefit of environment continuously, a time will reach when we will be left with no other options. If we see current global pandemic, if we think these are the outcome of our own deeds, we have played with nature throughout our life, throughout the human existence. We are playing with our environment, we have played with our environment, and now we are paying for this in the form of global pandemic known as COVID. If we think, we are saying that the positive term as far as COVID is concerned is not good, but if we think from ecological perspective, it has paid a good, we can say, results as far as environment is concerned, because if we see the reports, since the lockdown occur, since the lockdown happened, people are staying, they have restricted themselves at one place, so this has given enormous time to environment to grow, to recreate. Pollution level has been declined. Ozone depletion, the ozone hole, it has decreased a lot. Similarly, we can see wastes and all that, because when you are not out, you are not working, no factories, no transport on the road, so it has given enormous time and to our environment to regrow. So we have played with our nature, and now the nature is playing with our, and it's a law of nature. When the population, when the things go beyond out of the control, then the nature itself come to its own rescue, in the form of pandemic, in the form of disasters. And this year the almighty has chosen this disaster in the form of covid. So, coming back to the theme, so the theme for the World Environment 2021 is to reimagine, recreate, and restore. So, whatever the main crux of this reimagine, recreate, and restore is to turn back time, to go to. We cannot turn back time, but we can grow trees. We can protect our whatever we have whatever choice we have left with. We need to protect that, so that we can make it a better place for our future generation. Let's get active, not noxious. Let's be bold, not timid. So the so basically the full on crux of this environmental day is you have to protect your ecosystem. And all of we know that what ecosystem is a community of interacting organisms. Ecosystem contains everything from minute thing to the largest mountain, to the living to non-living, which are continuously interacting with one another. ठीक है? We are living, we are humans, we are interacting with soil, water, air. So each of all of us are interconnected with each other. This forms the ecology. See, basically there are three terms: environment, ecology, and ecosystem. Environment and ecosystem means totality in which we live, in which we survive, which contains both living as well as non-living. While as ecology is the study of interaction between these two, living and non-living, how both living and non-living are connected to each other. And Ernest Haeckel was the first ecologist who suggested the term ecology. Similarly, we can see that the nature has restored us with lots of resources, from water, air, soil, in the form of mineral resources, in the form of coal, petroleum, everything, but in a proper quantity. But what we have done to our nature, we have extracted. Our demands are much more than production. The production is very less. There is a limited quantity, but our demands are increasing. Why our demands are increasing? Because our population is increasing. So everybody wants to live in a free and fertile and rich environment. And for that, he needs to extract these resources from the environment. Okay? But we have gone beyond our levels. Our we I can say that nature has everything to satisfy our needs, but not our greed. So the United Nations Decade on Environmental Restoration aims to prevent, halt, and reverse the degradation of ecosystem. So now at the international level, the United Nations, they are working for the restoration of the environment. They are every year they come up with a strategy to reverse the degradation of the ecosystem, to find the means and solutions to protect our ecosystem. So, World Environmental Day. Over the year, many ecosystems have been destroyed by the man's activity. More and more ecosystems are coming under the threat. You can see that we everybody wants to develop, every nation wants to develop, okay, and for the development he needs to build up its resource, he need to utilize his resource, and all this resource extraction, resource development, extraction and utilization uh, uh, has caused the environmental degradation. Our biodiversity has been destroyed. Biodiversity simply means variety and variability among living organisms. You can find number of varieties in flowers, in fruits and insects, okay, but for our greed, because we want to prosper, we want everybody is in the race. This world is, some sort of is a competition in a real sense, and every country wants to be at number one, and to be at number one place, you need to develop yourself, and for the development you need to identify your potentials in the form of resource, in the form of economy, and for that you need to identify, you need to extract your resources, to utilize your resources to, and it's very common when you grow, when you start using your resources, it leads to the environmental degradation, whether it is in the form of deforestation, it is in the form of mineral extraction, sorry. And so we know it's we are developing, but at the cost of environment. So the aim of the World Environmental Day is to encourage people to do something to take care of environment and become an agent of change. So what are how we are affecting our environment, how our activities are affecting our activities, human anthropogenic. If we mostly talk about anthropogenic, there are two factors which are affecting the environment. One is anthropogenic and one is natural. Anthropogenic simply means man made, in which we are involved, and natural means which is naturally, like it's earthquake is, but somehow I think that both are interrelated. If we talk about earthquakes which are natural, somehow some mean I think man is also responsible for that, when he goes for a construction on faulted area, suppose, um, and he builds a dam, for example. We know that if we build a dam, it will generate enormous pressure on earth, and somehow it can lead to the seismic activities, and which can transform into the earthquakes, okay. And when you go for the multi-purpose river valley projects, it leads to the displacement of people. You go for the habitat destruction because you need land. So you so you are already affecting the environment, you are developing, but at the cost of environment. So we affect the environment mainly in the form of air pollution. You can see global warming, we are affecting our oceans, marines, uh, throwing all garbage into water bodies. Already due to the human actions, six of the seven sea turtle species are either threatened or endangered. Similarly, 70% of the planet's surface, which is covered by the ocean, is being affected by the climate change and global warming. Thirdly, the destruction of forests is a major environmental issues. When you go for deforestation, you destroy a habitat, and in forests there are large number of flora and fauna exists there. Uh, According to a report, four subspecies of the tiger, the Caspian Java, Balinese, and the South China tigers, have already been extinct. Extinct, they don't exist at all. Similarly, the depletion of the forest, because as we know, forests are, they are called the lung of our environment. Trees are necessary for oxygen. They rejuvenate your environment. When you go for deforestation, more and more carbon dioxide gets accumulated on your earth. This causes to the global warming. Similarly, tree helps to combat the climate change. It's quite obvious. They bring rain, they cause coolness. That's why the trees are called the lung of environment. Similarly, they help to clean the air by absorbing other harmful gases like carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, ammonia, sulfur dioxide, and ozone. So what should be done? So what can we do to protect and improve our environment? We cannot stop developing, because if we stop developing, we stop surviving. So there is no fun of living on this earth. We can, so there is need to rethink. So there is need to uh, put your skills into the action to find the different means with the help of which you can improve, not individually, but nationwidely. You have to develop, but not at the cost of environment. So there are certain strategies, like we can do many things to help to improve our environment. We can help by recycle. We have to use those things which we can use again and again. Recycle. Plastic is not recyclable, but glass we can recycle. So there are technologies, there are processes with the help of which we can make use of those materials which are biodegradable, which are recyclable. Okay. Similarly, we can help by putting rubbish in bins. Instead of putting into water bodies, we have dustbins with a proper color coding: red for dangerous, green for recyclable, and similarly yellow or orange for non-infectious diseases or mild. Similarly, there are color codings for domestic waste, there are color coding for the biomedical waste, there are color coding for the hazardous waste. But what we do, we just mix up all the things and we just put in directly into the water bodies, which already created havoc for us. We can walk or cycle to place instead of traveling by a car. It's so easy. We can go eco-friendly. In short and precisely, we have to choose eco-friendly means, like if you go for out for a shopping, carry your own paper bag or jute bags. Okay, because as we know, the polythene is very harmful. It contains dioxins. If it remains in the soil even after 400 years, and if you burn, it releases dioxin, which is very carcinogenic. Okay, so you have to carry your own paper bag. Okay, and the most important culprit behind all this is the overpopulation. So right here, I'm on this slide, I'm sharing the population. It is 15 minutes back, the current population of the world. You can see the total birth rates and death rates and population growth. So the population is growing tremendously, which is putting the tremendous pressure on your resources. Okay, so presently, if we say China is number one country in population, so what is the conclusion of all this? The conclusion of all this is that human is an important part of the environment. If he wants to live, everybody has a right to live in a clean and free environment. If we talk about the Indian Constitution, so we have to work for the better health and clean environment. We must address the environmental issues as soon as possible. It is not like on 5th June we just think and we just give themes and all that stuff only on 5th June, but we have to continue this throughout the year. We all must reimagine, recreate, restore our ecosystem, which is also the theme of World Environment Day by 2021. So all of us, we must work for the betterment of environment, because if we think of